The chair will be in receipt of a motion from the gentlewoman from Minnesota, Ms. Fischbach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the committee grant H.R. 1449, the Committing Leases for Energy Access Now Act, a structured rule. The rule waives all points of order against consideration of the bill. The rule provides 1 hour of general debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Natural Resources or their respective designees. The rule provides that the bill shall be considered as read. The rule waives all points of order against provisions in the bill. The rule makes in order only those amendments printed in the Rules Committee report. Each amendment may be offered only in the order printed in the report, may be offered only by a member designated in the report, shall be considered as read, shall be debatable for the time specified in the report, equally divided and controlled by the proponent and an opponent, shall not be subject to an amendment, and shall not be subject to a demand for division of the question. All points of order against the amendments printed in the report are waived. The rule provides one motion to recommit. The rule further provides for consideration of H.R. 9495, the Stop Terror Financing and Tax Penalties on American Hostages Act, under a closed rule. The rule waives all points of order against consideration of the bill. The rule provides that the amendment, excuse me, in the nature of a substitute recommended by the Committee on Ways and Means, now printed in the bill, shall be considered as adopted, and the bill as amended shall be considered as read. The rule waives all points of order against the provisions in the bill as amended. The rule provides 1 hour of debate, excuse me, of general debate equally divided and controlled by the chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Ways and Means or their respective designee. Finally, the rule provides one motion to recommit.
Thank you very much. You've now heard the motion. Is there any discussion or amendment to the rule?
Yeah, just briefly, Mr. Chairman, I want to point out, I'm going to be opposing this rule. Comes as no surprise to anybody. But I do want to point out that H.R. 9495 is the 112th closed rule in this Congress, and you've kind of broken your record again. I don't know what the next session is going to bring, but I mean, I think that we need to reassess what the role of the House of Representatives is in terms of debating some of this legislation. And on H.R. 9495 in particular, many of us are deeply concerned that this will be misused by the incoming president, who has labeled mainstream organizations in this country as terrorist organizations. And he will be able to use this, if it ever became law, to deny these organizations their tax-exempt status, to try to punish them, to try to silence them, without any due process, without any hearing, without any nothing. And I want the record to reflect that this is a dangerous pathway that this committee is paving the way for us to go down. And so with that, I will yield back my time.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Gentleman yields back. Further discussion or amendment? Hearing no requests for further amendments, the question is on the motion from the gentleman from Minnesota. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion is agreed to.
As for a roll call?
A roll call has been requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Reschenthaler. Mr. Reschenthaler, aye. Mrs. Fischbach. Mrs. Fischbach, aye. Mr. Massey. Mr. Massey, aye. Mr. Norman. Mr. Norman, aye. Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy, aye. Mrs. Houchin. Mrs. Houchin, aye. Mr. Langworthy. Mr. Langworthy, aye. Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott, aye. Mr. McGovern.
No.
Mr. McGovern, no. Ms. Scanlon. Ms. Scanlon, no. Mr. Neguse. Ms. Leisure-Fernandez. Ms. Leisure-Fernandez, no. Mr. Chairman.
Chair votes aye.
Mr. Chairman, aye.
Clerk will report.
9 yeas, 3 nays.
And the ayes have it. The motion for report is agreed to. Accordingly, the gentlewoman from Minnesota will manage for the majority.
And I will do it for the minority. Yeah.
I want to thank the gentleman for his forbearance today. I think we did good work, and without objection, the committee is
I must have
adjourned.
missed that.
We did great work.